Can you tell us how you first heard about a guy by the name of Elliot Alderson? For those of you who haven't yet caught up, we can just briefly synopsize. This is the amazing character that Rami plays on just a show that I think is essential viewing today, Mr. Robot. A cybersecurity specialist by day, master hacker by night, who grapples with psychological issues and drug addiction while trying to free the world from heartless corporations. He's a complicated guy.
Yeah. I opened my diary, and there it was. Sam Esmail had seen me again in the Pacific, and was looking for his Elliot, and I came in there, and I had read the script, Mr. Robot. I thought, wow, this is excellent, but it's an odd title, and maybe, that would change later, as oftentimes titles change. This one stuck, and I really love it now. I'm glad nothing happened to that. I went in, did I do that? There we go. I went in for Sam, and
Sam, who had never worked in television before.
He'd never worked in television before. He did a film called Comet with Emmy Rossum, and I watched that. That was pretty terrific. I knew it's another guy who was going to direct and had, the gift of putting that pen to paper in a way that few can, and describe things and tell a story so far-reaching that I didn't even have the presence to know when I first read it just how affecting it would be to so many people. I've got to travel with Bohemian all over the world now, and so many kids just come out because of Mr. Robot, and they feel like they have a voice. They feel like they can stand up and speak their mind. They don't feel as repressed, perhaps, because of something that we got to put together for entertainment purposes, hoping that somehow it could transcend that. And that's what Sam did when he gave me the script from the very start. I knew this thing was special, and I knew if I had a crack at it, I could deliver him something that maybe, hopefully, could exceed his expectations. And I think together we've made a pretty dynamic duo.
Absolutely. And just fun fact, that was not, I think, at the beginning, he's also of Egyptian descent, right?
Yeah.
That's a small world.
We figured that out after about 5 auditions, and that's it. We're going to work together and tell stories about people who may be Egyptian, may not be Egyptian, but we just look at ourselves as storytellers, and there's no limit to the stories we can tell and who they are about and the reach that they can have.
And this character is complex for anybody to play, not just because he's the central character carrying the show, but also, can we note, he's a quiet guy, depressed guy, secretive, has social anxiety, addicted to various forms of self-medication. But you, as him, you have to convey a lot without words. And there are voiceovers and things like that, but that's a skill in and of itself. It's almost, in some ways, when you watch that show, like watching a silent movie with voiceovers. What is it like? Do you like working in that way where you have to draw on things that actors aren't often asked to do?
Yeah, I try to remove as much dialogue as possible if it's not absolutely necessary. I just love subtext, and I think if I can do the right homework and have all of those feelings living within me, underneath me in every moment, then the story's going to get told to a degree. As far as that character, it was up until this most recent one, the most complicated human being I'd ever tried to understand. Someone who is that profoundly alienated and, could never even consider being out in front of all of you, even 1 or 2 people having this discussion, still have this burning desire to change the world and think that he can. So I think to supersede any expectation that anyone had of him in the first place or that he had of himself and say, I'm going to take on the biggest conglomerate in the world, even though I have lost my father tragically. I can't talk to people. I don't enjoy people. I don't know why I want to save the world, but something inside me does, and I want to have my voice heard. And I think it's reached a lot of people who think I may be the cog in the wheel, but my voice makes a difference. And I've learned so much from him, and I believe in Elliot Alderson, and I believe in Sam Esmail, and the power that stories like this have to affect change.
Yeah. It is sort of eerie how prescient this show has been.
Oh, yeah.
Can we note a few things, then I'm going to ask you to react, but it was commissioned on the day that Sony Pictures employees learned that their data had been hacked and leaked. The first season finale was delayed because it featured a newscaster being shot on the air, as happened in the world live on around that time. And, well, hacking does appear to have played a role in our presidential election of the last cycle. So the extent to which we may not know, because they may have their own Elliots working on it. But what have you made of that? You're a step ahead of the game.
It's Sam that
right.
I would look to him and say, so what else is happening in the future? And I mean, seriously, he would surprise himself. At times we thought, this is not plausible. This cannot happen. No one is going to hack into our American election. It's absurd. And
there you go.
There you have it.
First season of the show won a Peabody Award. The show personally brought you Golden Globe, Critics' Choice, and Emmy Awards. In the case of the Emmy, you were the first person to win Best Actor in a Drama Series in 18 years who was not white. Did that? What'd you make of that?
Felt pretty good.
But I mean, again, just because, particularly in light of, like, we're talking 5-6 years before you're playing Insurgents.
I would say that when I got the role of Elliot, I thought, Rami Malek, am now going to play a guy named Elliot Alderson, and it's not going to be, have any link to Middle Eastern characters from the onset. And that was something that I thought was unprecedented up to that time. I mean, I had looked at the television as a youth and thought, there was something about it when I went into those auditions that was just, well, here goes, because it's never going to be mine. I don't necessarily I've never assimilated with a guy who might be called Elliot Alderson, so let's just see if this sticks. And ultimately, it was a few people who thought progressively and said, things have changed. This is the way our country looks now. And we're advancing into that place more and more every day. But, yeah. And so to stand up on that stage at the Emmys and be the... Love you too. Love you all. To stand there and be the first in 17 or 18 years is something that I'm very proud of. And I can just feel people, like I said, all over the world feeling empowered by moments like this. And it's extremely humbling to be one tiny part of affecting that change in society.
And you're currently at work on sadly, the last season of Mr. Robot?
Sadly, yeah.
Last
season.
You want to give us any tease?
It's the last season of Mr. Robot. I will miss it dearly. Right. It's shooting in New York with Christian Slater and our cast, and of course Sam has been a phenomenal experience. Todd Campbell is our DP. He's the DP on Stranger Things and Homecoming. We use the same costume designer, the same set designer, production designer. These crews, they travel among several different shows and films, and it's so special to see them contributing to such great television and film.
So let's take a look at 2 clips of Rami Malek on Mr. Robot.